She's moved 34 times before 5th grade. She's a national award-winning sales professional. Please welcome to the stage, Sarah Cortez.
Allow me to offer you a permission slip. You've got one right in your workbook. And this is not one signed by authority, but one signed by yourself. Right here in this moment, allow yourself to dream big, because that's what we're doing today. Give yourself limitless possibilities, because a lot of times we are the ones that limit ourselves. We're going to play a game before we get started. You've probably heard it called Two Truths and a Lie. I like to call it Two Truths and a Dream. And actually, I like to call it that because Chad Littlefield calls it that, and he's one of my favorite facilitators. So in your workbooks, I want you to write down 2 truths about yourself and then a dream that you have, and go big. Please go big. 2 truths and a dream. And when you hear this, we're going to give you 2 minutes. And that's going to feel really quick. You're not going to have enough time, I guarantee you. But if you do finish it, share it with somebody next to you. And when you hear this sound, we're going to take flight. I want you to do the waterfall and come back to us, okay? So go ahead, get started. You've got 2 minutes to find 2 truths and a dream. Hey, how's it going? Make this fun. Good to see you. I think I know this. 2 truths and a dream. All right, you've got it. Now share it with somebody next to you. I'm loving this. A lot of times people have trouble figuring out their dreams. I think this group is doing really well. My 2 truths and a dream. I moved 34 times before 5th grade. I'm an avid snowboarder. And I'm a commercial pilot. Which one do you think is a dream? Nope. I'm a pilot, but not a commercial pilot. Yet. All right, we got it. I thought you guys would be louder, so. Where's my volunteer to share their 2 truths and a dream? Who's going to volunteer for me? There we go. I know this one. Okay. Give me your 2 truths and a dream.
My 2 truths, I love the Dodgers. I love to snowboard. And I never got the call to be drafted by the Dodgers.
It's still your dream, though, okay? He'd like to be drafted by the Dodgers. Okay, as you meet people today, this is a game that you can play to break the ice. What are your 2 truths and a dream? And share that with each other. Now, I want you all to close your eyes. If I see you peeking, we won't move on. Close your eyes and think about the time that dream imprinted on you. Okay, You can open your eyes. This is the moment that my dream imprinted on me. 3 years old, flying with my dad. These are some of my first memories. He's flying this plane. I'm looking up at him flying. I'm looking out the window, and I'm like, wow, I want to do that someday. That was 3 years old. It took me till I was about 40, almost to turn 40, to start taking action on my dream. And please, you guys, don't wait. You're never going to have enough time. You're never going to have enough money. And when I started, having been so far removed from school and math and science and having zero mechanics, I was in a class of geniuses. You guys, they would build robots and take them around the nation, and they would fight each other. And so, and then there was one guy who was building cars from the ground up. He had built 8 cars, and he was only 16 years old. And then there was a guy who would study hectopascals, and he would transition what we do in America, and what all we had to know for our test was how to measure atmospheric pressure in inches of mercury, but he would translate it to hectopascals, and I'm still thinking, what the hecto is a pascal? Anyway, I would tell myself, I had a limiting belief, and I would tell myself that I am not a math person. This is why I'm having such a hard time. Well, then I learned to be a math person, all you have to do is do math and be a person. We've got lots of math people in the crowd today. And I became a math person too, because I stopped limiting myself by saying, I'm not a math person. All right, come with me. This is the day where everything changed. My dad lives on an island in Washington. On that island are 2 freshwater lakes. I was out there with my daughter. One of my best friends from college came out to the island with her daughter. We had just gotten off one of the lakes on our paddleboards. Our daughters went out on the lakes, and Jessica asked me a question that I got all the time while I was taking my flight training. What are you going to do with your pilot's license once you get it? And I would always say, my pipe dream is to work for a company that owns a plane and also sell for them. And from the corner, I see my dad. He goes, when horses fly. I was like, I looked at Jessica. She looked at me. She goes, he doesn't believe in you? I was like, no, but I believe in myself. And that's the first time that I stopped calling it a pipe dream. Before you go thinking my dad's a jerk, it's not true. Later on that night, we were sitting around, and I said, hey, what did you mean by that? And he was like, well, Sarah, you don't have the focus. And I was like, okay. And there's sometimes people in our life that tell us things we might not want to hear, but they're absolutely true. I thought about it and was like, he's right. Okay. Came back from that trip, cleared my social calendar, and I became a pilot. All right? So you can do it too, if this math person can do it. When horses fly, you can do this, okay? I'm going to give you a 3-step process to get you to the big goals and the big dreams that you have here today. First, you've got to determine your goals. There's a place for you to write them down in your workbook. Determine your goals, write them down, and decide that you believe. That's going to be a huge piece. Here's what happens when we write our goals down. Dr. Gail Matthews, she's a psychology professor at Dominican University, did a study with 267 participants and found that you're 42% more likely to accomplish your goals when you write them down. Do it, guys. I'll help you get the other 58% of the way there. Is that the right math? I think so. I'm a math person. All right. Here's what else happens. When you write down your goals, your prefrontal cortex goes to work. It is a goal-achieving machine, and it actually breaks down your goals into actionable steps for you. Your brain does this for you when you write them down. Your brain's reward system is fueled by dopamine, and that helps you keep motivated as you take action towards your goals. And then we have emotional resilience that comes from overcoming our setbacks, because we're gonna have them. Believe me, we're gonna have them. So your brain is already programmed to be a goal-achieving machine. Now, we are going to check out this quote, because it's my favorite. A dream written down with a date becomes a goal. A goal broken down into steps becomes a plan. And a plan backed by action, man, that makes your dreams come true. So let's get it all going today. This is quantum physics science behind accomplishing your goals, or some people call it manifesting. First of all, we have to see it. We closed our eyes and we saw when that imprinted on us. We have to see it. If you can see it, you can be it. I saw my dad flying, and he's here today, by the way. And I knew I could be it. Then we have to believe, and it has to happen. You guys, if you don't believe, we're gonna have pipe dreams that we won't realize. Then you have to start taking action. You have to be willing to receive it. Some people have mental blockages. We've got to clear those. And then we repeat it. And this is the cycle of accomplishing our goals. If you believe it'll work out, you're right, you'll see opportunities. If you believe it won't, you will see obstacles. We don't like those. So let's believe. Now, we're going to talk about the art. We've already talked about science. My favorite part is art. And art starts with action. I like to do this in 2-week increments. I decide an action that I will take for 2 weeks, and then after that, I reflect on that action. I help my clients with this too. And after we reflect on that action, we remove things that didn't work, and we do things that did work over and over again. This becomes a cycle. Action, reflection, tweak. Action, reflection, tweak. Practice the art of accomplishment. Action, reflection, and tweak it, and keep going. I tell people, I would never tell my daughter this. She's here too. Strive for a C in art. Don't strive for a C in art, Grace. Okay, but the C is consistency. And if we practice the art of accomplishment on a consistent basis, over and over again, it's not fun to keep in that cycle of action, but it's fun when you start to see the results. Strive for a C in art. Become consistent with your action. And then the third is probably the most important. Human connection, you guys. We've got to gather 5 different types of humans in order to help us succeed. And you've all heard it said, you are the sum of the 5 people you have around you. I want to make sure that we have the right types of people around us so that that sum can raise our level. The first type of person we need in our life, thank God, is somebody humorous. For me, that's my brother, who shaves art into his back. Give it up for Michael Wolf. There's a calendar, okay? Back hair art. Next, you might not have somebody that does back hair art, but you all have somebody humorous in your life. Next is understanding. This is somebody that's going through some of the same things you're going through at the same time. I've got a friend. She's also a client. I have a day job. I'm at Alliance Title and Escrow, and she's a realtor. She's a client of mine, and we're helping each other grow our real estate business, but she's also a speaker, and she's a podcast host, and so we're also helping each other grow our side gigs. And this is a perfect example of an understanding human, somebody who's going through it with you. We're fudging through. The next is a mentor. Everybody needs them. Somebody that's a couple steps ahead of you, willing to reach back. I love the graphic that goes along with the mentor, and help you come to the level. I did an exercise when I was about to start flight training because I knew I didn't have the time. I knew I didn't have the money. But I wanted to make sure that all of the areas of my life stayed on track. So I wrote down all of my goals, and I put them into silos: business, flying, family, faith. And I asked someone to be a frientor at the top of each silo. And so every month we would meet, and I would give her or him things that I was going to work on the next month, and they'd keep me accountable. These frientors turned out to be instrumental in my growth in getting my pilot's license. And then this one is so important. It's an analyst. This is somebody who's going to call your BS. Guess who mine is? Yeah. They're going to help you see things from a different perspective. I've got another analyst here too, my friend that's a CFO. She tells me a lot of things that I need to think of in a different way. But you guessed it, my analyst, my number one analyst is my dad. And this is when I did my first solo, and my dad was there to see it, and he was very proud of me. It was awesome. The last one is an inspiration. It doesn't start with an N, but I made it. This is somebody who is where you want to end up. Somebody who's made it. You might not know this person. In my case, I got to know her. And when my dad told me that, I said, "Hey, Dad, there's this pilot called Amelia Earhart, and she's the one that actually made it around the world in a Pilatus. And nobody thought she could do it. This is Amelia Earhart. I got to meet her. She spoke at the Chamber of Commerce Gala. And she did it, and I'm going to do it, so you better stay alive for at least 10 more years so I can do it." So now I ask, which human are you? At all of these conferences we go to, we take away a couple of different action items that we're going to do when we leave. Those are so important. But the value comes in the people that we meet today. So which human are you? There's stickers on your desk in front of you, on your table, and you can peel off one of those stickers and wear that the rest of the day. You put it on your book. But when you meet people, ask them what kind of human they are. They might be somebody that you need. So, this is crowd participation time. Who has a goal, a big goal that they want to reach, but you have a hole in your human element and you need someone today? One of these 5 humans. Who has a goal and a hole? All right. We've got a couple right here. She's going to come, and I'd love for you to share with us what your goal is and what kind of a person you need in your life in order to reach that goal. We've got Justin right there in the second row. Thank you.
Who had their hand up? You. I got my eyes on you.
Just share our goal?
Yeah, share your goal, and then maybe who you need in your life.
Well, I'll tell you, it's fitting because my dad told me he would never fly in a plane unless I was the one flying it. And we've got family up in Coeur d'Alene now. And for me, getting Annalisa and our puppy up to Coeur d'Alene regularly and becoming a pilot and being the guy that gets to take my dad on his very first flight is something that is a huge goal of mine.
Ah, yes. I love it. Another fellow aspiration of a pilot.
So what I need is someone that's done it recently, right?
I will be your mentor. Let's go. This is what I'm talking about. Ah, I love it. And I didn't plant him. I did, but I know him. Thank you. Sometimes we can find ourselves in a clump. What? A clump? Are you in a clump? Well, what's a clump, Sarah? Well, the other day, it was about 1.5 years ago, my son came into the kitchen. His shoulders were hanging low. He was looking from side to side, and he's like, "I'm in a clump." I said, "Buddy, what are you talking about?" "I'm in a clump. I can't hit the ball at the plate in baseball. I'm in a clump." "Oh, you're in a slump." "Yeah, I'm in a slump." Oh, buddy, it's okay. My husband looks at him and he says, we believe in you, buddy, but do you believe in yourself? And again, introspectively, looking back and forth, he looks back up and he says, I do. I believe in myself. Oh, thank God, because we believe in him more than anybody could. Oscar sent him to his room, and he said, write down on a piece of paper 100 times, I believe in myself. Look what he did. When I showed him this, he's like, oh, don't show that. I spelled believe wrong. I'm like, don't worry, buddy. They're going to get the point, okay? A couple of years older now, he would never do that. He would never spell that wrong. But what I want to show you is this video. And this is Oscar Jr. up to bat against, he's 13, by the way, against Will Nafsker, my daughter's boyfriend, who's 15, 2 years older than him. He's been in a clump. What do you think's gonna happen? Let's take a look.
Let's go! Let's go! Oh, let's go!
Yes! It went over the head of the shortstop, into the outfield, off of Will Nafsker. Junior is not in his clump anymore. Yes! So I ask you today, do you believe in yourself? Do you need to write on a piece of paper 100 times, I believe in myself? Because I tell you what, if you determine your goal and you decide you believe it, you practice the art of achievement, and you gather these 5 humans that you need in your life in order to help you succeed, you will accomplish your goals. When horses fly, yes!